We will call the meeting to order. Would you please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You stole my footstool. Could we have roll call, please?
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Here.
Hayward,
Here.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Here.
Kurtz,
Here.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Now I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by, I just went blank on his name. Kurtz. I need to read the nameplates, I guess. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is an oath of office.
Say what? Come on down, I'll just say a little bit for, can join me. The oath of office tonight is for Kalika Staker. He was a reserve for us at one point in time, 2016. Is when he started,
Figure out which
before I
one's
took over
easier
the
to
police
go.
department. Went back to school, so he resigned at the time because he couldn't put in the hours that he needed to be a reserve for the city. So all that stuff is taken care of, and now he has some more free time on his hands, and he's wanting to come back as a reserve. So he said he started with us, was certified, just didn't get as far as he wanted to, and still has that drive to come back and help us out in the community. So he is back, ready to work with us, so.
Hello there.
Hi, how are you?
I didn't recognize you back there. You look different from the last time we talked.
That's a good thing.
I don't know, you look older. We'll do this and I'll start it and then That's. I state your name,
I, Kalika Staker,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all duties of the position
discharge all duties of the position
of Reserve Officer for the City of Independence,
of Reserve Officer in the City of Independence,
as now and hereafter required by law.
as now or hereinafter required by law.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now you get to sign. There's three of them. You can smile for a photo op.
Oh, awesome.
At least you're shorter. We're gonna leave Dustin over there.
Okay.
He's too tall. He doesn't get to get in. How do you want to? You're too tall, Dustin, we can't be out of the line. Got it?
All right.
That's your copy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, Kalika. Good deal. Yep.
Okay. We have no one that signed in for the public comments. Next on the agenda then is to accept the consent agenda. I will need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the December 16th, 2019 regular meeting, bank reconciliation for the month of October, monthly and budgeted transfers for the month of October, bank reconciliation for the month of November, monthly and budgeted transfers for the month of November, modified police department auction, and disposal listing to reflect actual items that were sold, retained. City organization chart, Casey's General Store, 2169, Class B wine permit, Class C beer permit, Class E liquor, and Saturday sales. Losing track here. Sales license for January 30th, 2020 through January 29th, 2021. River's Edge Sports and Fitness, Class B beer, Class B native wine permit, and Saturday sales liquor license, February 3rd, 2020 through February 2nd, 2021.
I just had a question on the auction items. Are these the items that they didn't sell? We just got stuck with them more or less? Is that what happened?
A combination of items that didn't sell, or it's kind of the housekeeping when they went through the whole auction list. These are the things that we want to make sure got off of our books.
I see, okay.
A lot of these that you see here did not sell.
Did not sell, okay. I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by Callahan.
Question on number 7.
What was your question?
On number 7, the city organizational chart. Did we vote on that last year?
Did we vote on that last year was the
It's-
question?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
We had to add the airport.
And did we vote yes or no?
Well, this one has the airport added to it.
And I think we had to also break out fire chief and building inspector as two separate people also, if I remember correctly.
Gina
How
said,
the majority vote came?
Yes. We've always done it on the consent agenda.
yes, this is always done on consent agenda. Reflects our current organizational structure. Gina also said that the fire chief and building inspector are split out on this one.
So it got voted in majority last year.
Yes.
I don't know if it was
Thank you.
last year, it might have been a couple years ago, but,
I don't think it was 2 full years ago.
okay.
It reflects the changes of staffing, city employee staffing. Does that answer your question?
I just want to know if it was majority last year, because I didn't think it was.
We're not sure if we did this last January or when we did it, but because there has been some changes in city employee standards and their titles and such, then we had to update it.
Can we take that out so we can check into that?
What do you need to check into? That's who our department heads are and what the staff, or what the organization chart
Just think
says.
There was some reason last year that part got voted down.
I don't believe it ever has.
The organizational chart has never failed to vote, Deb, because it reflects our current organizational structure. There wouldn't be a reason to vote it down, because either this is the way it's organized or not. So I'm not even aware of a time that we've even had a split vote on an organizational chart.
What part of the chart are you what part of the chart are you questioning?
Let me back us up. This is the consent agenda. If we want to have a conversation on it, we should pull it from the consent agenda and vote on the consent agenda and put the organizational chart as an agenda item.
Thank
We-
you.
But we do have a motion and a second to approve the whole consent agenda.
I would
We would-
recommend that
We would
having
have to back that out.
having a dissent on one of the items, I'd come back to the council and ask you to vote on the consent agenda minus item 7, and have item 7 put into the agenda for discussion.
I'll amend my motion to do so.
Okay?
I
Second.
will as well.
Okay. So the motion and second now is to approve the consent agenda except for item number 7. Everybody understand? You need a roll call on this? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose the same. Motion carried. Okay. Next on the agenda is a motion to,
When are we now, tonight?
Yeah, it'll be later in the agenda.
Okay.
We'll move it down under other items.
Oh, okay.
okay. Next is a motion to approve claims for payment.
So moved.
Motion by Hill,
Second.
second by O'Loughlin. Any questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same.
Don't forget to wait.
Motion carried. I have to get delayed here, don't I? Okay, next is hearings and ordinances, Chapter 69 parking regulations. We have third and final reading, which would be for the removal of overnight parking on Second Street Southeast and the removal of overnight parking on Second Avenue Southwest.
So moved.
Motion by Hill,
Second.
second by Scharf. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next is a motion to, and third and final passage for a motion for is this, which one of the parking ordinances is this one?
This is just the blue line area in front of the old library, isn't it?
Okay. 2-hour parking in
Yes.
front of the library? Okay.
Yes.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Hill,
Second.
second by Kurtz. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Thank you, motion's carried. Next is a motion to adopt, motion to approve for the third and final passage for approving our code content, our codes codification.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by O'Loughlin. Any other discussion?
Question, did we officially decide, are we going to do that online version with that? Okay, just want to make sure.
In the event
Yes,
there's
sir.
new ordinances, is it a unit cost or is it just a yearly fee that allows us to have them?
it'll be based on the amount we send in.
Okay.
And this, if you click on this or review it, I've added in all the ones that we've changed since they've sent us our packet, so those
Okay.
will all be included with this when we
Oh,
approve
great.
it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Including the ones just now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, we need a roll call?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes,
Thank you, motion carried. Next, we have a public hearing in regards to home occupation permit applications, so I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by Scharf, second by O'Loughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Sorry, Deb, I'll just have to slow down, I guess. So we are in public hearing in regards to a home occupation permit for Matthew and Melina Gibbs. They are here, I believe. Is there anybody thank you, anybody in the audience that wants to speak on this for public hearing? This is your time to do so.
I did receive one more of my neighbor's signatures, if that makes any difference at all.
Okay, but you turned in all the addresses and stuff like you needed for your application, so, okay. And those letters did go out. Is there anything that you received in the mail or email or anything? Okay. Anything from council members? Then I would ask for a motion to close the hearing and receive and file all oral and written comments.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by Callahan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. And I need a motion to approve the home occupation permit for Matthew and Melina Gibbs.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by Hayward. Any other discussion? Otherwise, I need a roll call, please.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Lachlan,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion's carried. You do have your permission, and we'll have that probably tomorrow for signature, do you think?
Yeah, we can get it prepared for signatures tomorrow. and
Okay.
then We'll mail it out as soon as it's signed.
Okay. They'll get it ready. I'll sign it tomorrow and get it mailed out to you. Okay? You have any other questions of what you need to do, or from there? You're good to go? Okay, thank you very much. Resolutions. I need a motion to approve a resolution repealing resolution number 2019-53, I believe, of resolution of necessity. Is this in regards to Olds property? or-
No, this is the 2018 street assessment. There was not an assessment on the street project, so we have to revoke or repeal, rather, the resolution of necessity for special assessment on the 2018 street project.
Okay.
I'm sure there's nobody's gonna like this one, right?
I heard that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Hayward, second by Hill. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Lachlan,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yeah.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next, I need a motion to approve a resolution setting the date for public hearing on designation of the 2020 Hummingbird Court Housing Urban Renewal Area and the Urban Renewal Plan and request. This is just setting the hearing for next meeting, for the
February 10th, I believe.
February 10th. I didn't see that written in there.
This is a new urban renewal district for Steve G's project at Hummingbird Court.
So move. When you
Second.
didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you.
you're all right.
Okay, motion by Hayward, second by Callahan. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Lachlan,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Okay. So what's the next one, setting the date, the same thing for urban renewal? Is this one for,
This is setting a date for a public hearing on an urban renewal plan amendment. This would be for Gator Manufacturing, which is in an existing urban renewal district. And I believe they have to actually amend the one that they are just creating, is the language that they use in the TIF legislation. You have to have a public hearing to allow that urban renewal district to have a project in it.
So moved.
is this also set for February 10th?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Hill, second by Kurtz. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Lachlan.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried.
Mayor, just for clarification, the second one is exclusively for Gator. It does not include Hummingbird Court. It's just for Gator Manufacturing.
So there'll be two different hearings for
Yes.
individual one. Okay. Next, a motion to approve a resolution designating the 2020 city depositories.
I'd make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Kurtz, second by O'Loughlin. Any other questions?
same as last year's?
Yes. Roll call?
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes. I have one question about the sidewalk project, though. There's 78 people that aren't gonna pay their assessments. That bill's around $15,000. Why can't we try to get that out of our insurance company that we got the insurance for last year?
That,
That's not on the
that's not
agenda
on
for,
this. That's not the item we're talking about right now.
Okay, can it be put on for next time?
yep.
Thank you.
So you did your roll call for the depositories?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can move on to newspaper.
Now I need a motion to approve a resolution designating whatever newspapers as our official paper of this city.
So moved.
You need to designate
Oh, I'm sorry.
what they are.
Oh.
Currently, we have both the Independence Bulletin Journal and the Winthrop News. So, what's your motion to include
Yeah,
both?
motion
Okay.
to designate both.
Okay, motion
Second.
Callahan, second by Scharf. Any other discussion? Then a roll call, please.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next is a motion to approve a resolution setting the annual mileage rate designation, which I believe federal is 57.5, is that correct?
Yes, the mileage designation went down a penny this year.
We'll save so much.
This coincides with the IRS rate, that's where we get it from.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by Hayward. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried.
What was the price of it last year?
The
It was-
mileage last year was 58.5 cents a mile, set by the IRS.
Thank you.
Next is a motion to approve a resolution to assess property owners for Chapter 136 sidewalk regulations. Am I reading that number correctly?
Yes.
Okay. Not getting the bifocals in there right.
Are these, the people listed here, covered by what Deb was asking?
No, these are the ones that received the assessment notices, and so this is authorizing us to assess it to their property taxes because they have not paid it within the 30-day window where they were, you had the opportunity to.
We took payments a little longer. We took them up until Friday around noon, so that we had time to get the resolution updated.
I'd make a motion.
Motion by Kurtz,
Second.
second by Hayward. Any other discussion?
Yeah, what are we gonna do about the ones that didn't receive the notification yet? Billed.
We're gonna talk about it at the next council meeting, like Deb wanted.
We're on sidewalks now.
The ones that did not have the assessment notice have been sent an invoice. I think there's 17 that have paid, 15 or 17 that have paid roughly $1,600.
Is that the sum total of those that were billed, or?
All 78 properties received an invoice, yes.
But they didn't receive certified letter?
They did not get the special assessment by certified letter, and so it cannot be specially assessed unless they request it to be.
Roll call.
Kind of mixed up, did you say some of them that we couldn't assess actually did pay their bill?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, it's very generous on their part.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Roll call.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Hayward?
Yes,
Hill?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next is a motion to approve a resolution assessing the property at 200 7th Avenue Northeast for water service repairs.
I'd make the motion.
Motion by Kurtz,
Second.
second by Callahan. Any further discussion? And roll call.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Loughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Is this a water shut off?
It's a water repair and shut off, yes.
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Hayward?
yes,
Hill?
Yes.
Sharp?
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Down to other business. This is in regards to the Malone Creek Bridge project change order. I believe we have, is it engineer or contractor here?
Mike Shimkus with WHKS Engineering is here to discuss the change order and the Malone Creek Bridge project.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
So I'm Mike Shimkus, I'm with WHKS, and we're responsible for the design of the Malone Creek Bridge. So I understand that we have an action item on the agenda as well as some other questions, comments, and general discussion items. So I'm happy to start wherever you'd like to start.
With the additional signs, why wasn't it initially approved or within the design spectrum, given the fact that we had a large need for trucks to take the Nathan Bethel route versus Independence route? And the previous year, in fact, we had paved a street as the alternative route.
Sure. So the discussion initially was, do we need to do the local detour as part of the plans? And it was decided that local traffic, and this is through discussion with the city, local traffic would know how to navigate it and the trucks would use the major detour. So on Second Street, correct me if I'm misunderstanding your question, but the trucks were moving around town and then Second Street was supposed to be for not definitively delineated as the specific detour, but likely the detour that would be used. Had we included signs for that, that cost would have been added into the total project cost. And it was decided that we would rather respond to the traffic needs as they came up to do what was not minimally necessary, but to manage that efficiently, as opposed to putting in any number of detours that we could have put in.
To me, it's either negligent or poor planning at best, that was.
To your background, in other communities, have you run into where the trucks have not followed the designated detour like they did in this project?
Nearly every single project, almost every day. There's a lot of very optimistic truck drivers. I mean, we pull them out of the HUD project in Dubuque in downtown. They've got all sorts of streets blocked off, 3 layers of signs. Trucks will still try to get through the way they've always gotten through, and there's no room for them to back up. I mean, this is a very, very common thing. People ignore signs, people go where they want to go, drive where they want to drive, and they'll take whatever size vehicle it is that they're in.
Well, I think that's where some of the council, we have some questions on there, that if past experience indicates that this would probably happen, did you recommend and we turn it down, or at what point did you not think we needed to do this from past experience?
Well, there's more than one way to skin the cat, and this was something that came up in discussions with city staff about how are we all together going to approach this particular issue.
I don't remember being involved in it or hearing any discussion about that people would logically use the Second Street detour People don't logically do much of anything, so,
The designated detour was the Nathan Bethel
for the trucks.
route, primarily for trucks, that's correct. I mean, that was the people traveling through town, that was designated as the detour. The Second Street project, accepting the fact that your concrete trucks are not likely to go out to Nathan Bethel to go around to come into the other street project that was in place, they're going to come through that area. We also have, some local truck traffic we expect to be in that area.
Both.
So Second Street was, both 11th Avenue and Second Street were done in advance with the understanding that there'd be added traffic there.
Right.
But again, we're talking about local traffic versus, what we see as truck traffic. And the biggest change that we had on that local traffic route had to do with the no parking signs. The rest of that had to do with additional signage, making it clear for people on the already designated detour route. And after the project started, it was determined that there was a need for additional traffic signalization, if you will, or detour signage because of trucks were missing the signs that were out there. So we had to add more signs to the truck detour. The biggest area of consternation centers around Second Street, and that had to do with the no parking signs. Not the truck signs, not the signage, the lion's share of the change order, which was the larger signs on the Nathan Bethel and County Home Road detour. But the only thing that I take that back, we did add a library sign on Second Street to make that clear as to where the library was for anybody coming that didn't already know where the library was. But that was, really, it was the no parking signs that we added there. When we started this conversation, the concern was the perceived high cost of the no parking signs.
I guess we need to take this as a real hard lesson learned, but I would encourage us when we do our Highway 150 detours, that we mark all detour routes with no parking signs initially, so we don't have this kind of nightmare develop again. Because that was the biggest problem with all of our detours in town, was the parking on those streets, trying to get those trucks jockeyed through there.
The change order does reflect the contractor's willingness to compromise, and he lowered his price by $1,150, or $1,010, excuse me.
10%.
Well, he took the contractor markup out, and the general did, and then the contractor themselves also took reduced their price.
I'd make a motion, we approve it.
So, just a second. So, give me the final, as I look at this, tell me what the final cost now is.
$4,590.
Thank you.
That's part of the motion itself.
I'll second it.
I've got a comment
Kurtz?
to this.
Oh,
I don't see that the construction company is wrong, the subcontractor, but the engineer should have known this. And I think that's why he eats the cost. We voted on this, we voted now, down. So when somebody doesn't like how we vote, are we gonna just say, well, come back next week and we'll vote again?
I have to point out that the council directed the city manager to negotiate a lower price on the change order. And that's why it's coming back to you. Yes, you voted down the 5,600, but I was also given direction to negotiate this price. It is not about disagreeing with the council or bringing it back for a second vote.
we did have quite a bit of discussion on what we actually wanted the city manager to do during that, after we voted the original one down.
Right. So I do have a motion by Kurtz, second by Hill, to approve the change order number 2 in the amount of $4,590 for the traffic control.
I would add one thing to John's comment. It was a learning experience, but also I think we need to check and see what we have on hand locally, because that was the other snafu, that the signs got put up by the rental company before we even realized we had umpteen signs to put up there ourselves. So I think we need to slow down that process a little bit.
At this rate, that's great money if you can get it.
I will ask for a roll call, please.
O'Loughlin,
No.
Hannah,
No.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes,
Shar,
No.
Kurtz.
Yes.
What do you got?
3 noes, 4 yeses. Can I read my handwriting? I believe 3 noes, 4 yeses.
Okay. So it did pass?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So it is passed. Do you have any other questions or any other statements, or?
No, I was under the impression that there were more from council. So, if not,
Is this where we can address the concrete and the approaches, or?
This would be your opportunity to visit about the Malone Creek project and the change order. That's why Mike is here.
Okay. Well, if that's the scope, then I won't broach the,
so we can't talk about the pavement.
I put it in here because that was talked about as part of the change order and negotiation. Now, we voted on the change order, so if it makes the city attorney uncomfortable, but Mike was here to answer your questions about the pavement.
Okay, yeah, that's, I was looking at Steve and he was kind of shaking his head, like, no.
It makes me kind of uncomfortable from a agenda perspective, in terms of not being noticed. Granted, you have the fellow here, so you can stick to the agenda at advice of legal counsel, or you can continue to ask questions.
I'd like to ask questions.
Is that allowed? Is this agenda
I
item?
think the biggest topic of confusion and, I guess, question is the approaches on either side of the bridge, where we get a real nice little rocking motion as you go over it. And I'm not happy with it, and I don't think any of the council is either.
no.
And I've heard from numerous citizens that they're not happy about it.
fair enough.
And one question was brought up was particularly on the east approach. It's not only a dip off the bridge and back up, but you also have a ridge in the middle, like you put a crown on there, like a football field. You know, trucks and vehicles, if you hit that just right, it bounces you around. And I guess the question that I've had a lot of citizens say is, you're not going to pay for that type of work. I wouldn't pay for it if they did it on my driveway. It's not done properly, I guess I want to say. I guess if you want to say it's approach and you won't fall in the creek, yes, but as far as good workmanship, no. And we need somebody besides us to pay for to have that fixed.
And it's public safety too. If a snowplow goes over that, sure, with the crown there, there's gonna be some snow left. Sun comes out, melts the snow, freezes again, now you've got ice. That's a hazard, driving hazard too, in a brand-new project.
Sure.
Well, I certainly don't think WHKS, Taylor Construction, or probably even the subcontractor would be very happy with that workmanship and have their name being associated to that. You know, and I think that's, somebody needs to make that right. I don't know who that's gonna be, but, it's not the quality of work that we expected from the quality of the contractors we had working on that project. And I guess that's all I'm gonna say.
Do they have a punch list or something that they're coming back in the spring to finish up some stuff? Can it be
Yes.
addressed at that time?
Yes, absolutely.
To see how it can be corrected and,
Yeah, and I've talked to Jeff at Taylor about grinding the crown off. It's the simplest solution. You kind of take the rise out of it. Because they were going from well, a 2% slope. So they've got a shallow slope on the new pavement, and then the existing is a 4%, so it's a little bit steeper. And they started the transition closer to the approach than I think is ideal. Now, there are requirements in the DOT, in the construction manual. There's a lot of language in the specs and everything else about what is and isn't appropriate. But at the end of the day, the satisfaction of the community matters. That is something that's significant. We'll take the idea of safety and everything else. These are all quality points. And I think the thing is that until we get to the spring, when the pavement's settled back down, and we can take a look at it, it's certainly something that can be evaluated. If we have to get a survey crew in to take a look at it, get some exact measurements, so be it. I think there's been enough dissatisfaction expressed that it's obviously an issue of significance, and it's something that needs to be addressed and discussed and come to a reasonable resolution about.
Okay.
I think if it doesn't get fixed, you'll be stepping before a different council, because there's a lot of unhappy people out there.
Yeah.
Well, putting any of your jobs in jeopardy would absolutely shatter my heart.
I see that. Not my job. Well said.
So we will see you in the spring again, probably.
Sounds good. Was there anything else?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Thanks for
appreciate your
coming.
time.
Okay. Next is my airport. Okay, next is a motion to approve a change order number 1 in the amount of $3,495 for the removal and replacement of the unsuitable subgrade material on the airport taxiway project.
This project has faced the same issue that we had on First Street. They had some very wet material that they had to replace. For the record, it was $3,496. You were off $1.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Sorry.
96 it is, okay. I've got new glasses, folks, so my bifocals I'm still getting used to.
I'll make the motion, which is very, very seldom seen.
Second.
Motion by Scharf, second by Kurtz. Any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Call 911, Carl's having a fit over here. I'm not giving you something.
Okay, UST Tier 2 monitoring bidding. I'm going to let you take this, Al, since I'm having trouble reading it at all. Describe it.
The underground storage tank, UST, requires a Tier 2 monitoring. We're required to solicit bids for having this Tier 2 report completed. There are designated or certified environmental engineers that the DNR has recognized that can complete this report. I'm just asking for the council's permission to advertise this and bring back a bid for completing this work. The good news is that we are able to utilize the UST fund as an innocent landowner, under an innocent landowner claim. And we have filed that claim, which means that the report is paid for by the DNR UST fund.
Does that cap out, Al, the amount?
It does, but they said that they expect that the range was between 15 and 20,000 roughly is what they expect it to be. It sounds like, in talking to a couple different folks, that everybody's very familiar with it. It's not the long-term monitoring. We don't have years of wells for Tier 2. It's a very specific time frame. The report has to be filed with the DNR by the end of May. So for this portion, it's very specific, and there's things that they want them to look at that are just a little bit more advanced from where they were at when they took the tank out and filed the report with what they found right in that immediate area.
Okay, thank you.
I
This
make
is-
a motion, we send it out for bid.
Second.
Motion by Kurt, second by Scharf. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Callahan?
Yes.
Hayward?
Yes?
Hill?
Yes.
Sharp?
Yes.
Kurth?
Yes.
O'Loughlin?
Yes,
Hannah?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried.
I like to point out, seldom have I heard in all my years, Al, that we are innocent. City and the council are innocent. I
Just
want
glow
on
with
the
that,
record.
that you are innocent.
I meant to put that in bold, I missed it.
Yes. Okay. Next is the Independence Light and Power meter reading agreement. Motion to update that amendment.
This is just the annual adjustment of our billing agreement with Independence Light and Power. And it also has some language change in the agreement itself, mostly cleaning up the language. This modifies how much we pay Independence Light and Power for meter reading.
I'd make a motion to approve it.
One question on this, we've talked about this at Public Works. Independence Power and Light is trying to go with remote reading. Do we pay more if we have homes that they have to actually still do the manual reading? Because I know we're in the process of switching our meters so that they can basically drive by or in fact read them from the main office.
Well,
What happens with those that we haven't got changed out yet?
right, when they've made their transition or their conversion complete, anything that we have left behind, yes, we have to pay for that on our own, above and beyond any other billing arrangements that we have with Independence Light and Power.
Is this then covering just for reading remote then?
Yeah, well, the formula that you see there, the lion's share of it is the meter reader activity that's taking place.
Still going out to the homes?
Right, that conversion is not complete yet. I mean, it's underway, but it's not complete. So we're still doing meter reading.
Okay.
so like this summer, for example, can people still use their outdoor meters, or will there need to be a change?
I think it depends on when they make that transition, and I don't know if they're going to do the whole community at once or if they do a segment at a time. I'm not clear on that.
Okay.
I do have a motion from Kurtz on this, but do not have a second.
I'll second it.
Second by Hill. Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Hayward?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Sharp?
Yes.
Kurth?
Yes.
O'Loughlin?
Yes,
Hannah?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Okay, next is a climate action plan application.
The University of Northern Iowa has submitted the City of Independence as a potential applicant for the Climate Change Action Plan process. There's no cost to the city. It does involve having a student or students involved in a cohort in the spring, again in the fall of 2020. The one requirement is that we have a local person that works with the student locally. They are limited to 6 to 8 communities, and we're asking the council's permission to submit an application for this action plan.
I'd make the motion we submit to be a part of it.
Second.
Motion by O'Loughlin, second by Scharf. Any other discussion?
But I just to point out, a few years ago, we did start quite a bit of work on doing things, and we've kind of slowed down. So I think this, again, reinvigorates our efforts to become more energy conscious.
Do we know who the person locally would be working with the student?
No, we'll have to identify a local person. Wendy Vanderwelle is back here,
Yeah.
and she and I have had an email conversation. It would be nice to have, somebody in the community that was passionate about this, that would step up and work with us on it, to get more citizen engagement. But I think this is really the next step to the greenhouse gas study that we did a couple years ago. We've done quite a bit with Independence Light and Power on our LED light conversion, which is a big step. There's clearly more that we can do, and I think this is, the electric charging stations, by the way. Wendy has been instrumental in that, and we have several in town. Again, part of that effort. So this is a great next step.
Roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next is speed camera locations and units.
I say you guys all the guys. Speak louder into
You
the.
need to speak louder. You were
All right,
so
I
sorry.
can never hear you.
Yeah,
No,
Sorry.
lean into the microphone.
there you go.
A while back, I said we started the process on the speed cameras. Back in last year, October of 19 roughly, is when you guys approved the contract for the cameras. They came out on December 24th, looked through the community, and on November 24th, and on December 24th, I got 2 proposed reports for locations for speed cameras in Independence. One was Highway 20, which the police department is not a concern to us right now. We originally started this for our school zone. So the other one that they proposed was 1177 First Street West, which is right in the middle of our school zone, and that's the one we asked that you approve that one, and then turning our 2009 Chevy Equinox into a mobile unit as well.
How would you determine where to put the mobile unit?
Depending on the amount of calls and complaints and concerns we have. Like 6th Avenue Southwest, we just did a study on that street. It is unbelievable how many cars travel down that road and how many are speeding at the time.
Amazingly, what was the top speed?
Between 65 and 70 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone.
25, isn't it?
30 was where that one was put.
And the time of day surprised me too. What was it, 1 at 3 and 1 at 6 p.m.?
One was at 3 p.m., one was at 6 p.m.
Wow. This doesn't cover the intersection across from the courthouse or that
Nope.
for St. John's? This
No,
is
they did not propose
public
any
school.
red light or any stoplight cameras at this time. This just this location is where they proposed.
Okay.
How many years would we have these cameras then?
I believe the contract was 5 years, or 3.
I believe it's a 3-year contract that they proposed and then renews annually after that.
Yep.
The contract can be amended if you wanted to add cameras down the road, if you had other areas where you felt like it was appropriate, if it was a handheld was deemed necessary, those kinds of adjustments can be made under the same guidelines as the mounted cameras or the mobile camera.
I did have a question on this, that one of the things that in the contract discussions, we would set how high above the speed limit
Correct.
we would, before the civil citation would be issued, but with a mobile unit, you're going to be going to different speed zone areas. Will we set something up that so many miles over for any place in the city, or how does that work?
From what I'm understanding, like for our school zone, I would recommend nothing more than 5 over in our school zone. When it's not a school zone or any other area, 7 over or anything over 7 over would be a citation, and that would follow throughout the whole community.
Okay.
What was the reasoning that they
I'm all
didn't
for the
want the,
school area cameras, but nowhere else. The public is saying the school area for safety is a good thing, but what I'm hearing from all the people that have talked with me, they don't want them anywhere else in town. And I think that's what we ought to do, just focus on the school area. So if you want to put that in 2 different votes or vote all for school and that car. But I'm for the school, but nowhere else.
John?
I was curious why they didn't recommend the red light cameras that we had asked about.
These are the two that they brought me. I don't know what their recommendations are. They looked over the entire city, all the red light areas, no turn on reds, every street in the community. I took them on any concerns that were brought up. So from 2nd Avenue Northeast, 14th Street Northeast, 6th Avenue Southwest, 20th Avenue, Bland Boulevard. I took them on every concerned area in the community, and this is what they brought to us.
I would have thought as hard as you lobbied for the red light cameras at the no turn on red, that you would have had a little more input on it.
I would like to have seen them on there, and that might be something we try in the future, but this is what they brought up with us, so this is what like I said, we let them make their call on where they would like, or where they think the best option for them would be.
I think one of the issues with the no turn on red is it's still a motion sensing camera. And if somebody comes to a stoplight, stops and proceeds, it doesn't pick them up, regardless of whether it's a no turn on red or not. And I think part of the concern there is whether or not they would catch the potential offenders with the technology that they're using. And that was the only explanation I would have for you is they might not be geared for that situation.
One thing kind of, we talked a little bit about this at public safety. One of the things we've run into over the years is we get phone calls from people that tell us there's 50 cars a day going 70 miles an hour past my house, and you need to do something about it, and we waste time putting an officer out there for a whole day, and we don't give one ticket. And one of the things that I think the mobile unit does is it allows us, if we get that type of complaint where in fact there isn't a problem, we're not wasting manpower going out to show that maybe there's one car in 24 hours that actually went over the speed limit, so that it's not necessarily there to catch people that are speeding, but it's also a response to, we get a lot of citizens calling us complaining that cars are not going the speed limit, that they're causing dangers in their neighborhood, and this gives us a scientific way of dealing with it.
Correct.
And I do think one of the other things that is nice is if we got people, we put that out there on 6th Avenue Southwest and read the speed limits, and people could see their speed limit, and we hear people saying, well, let's educate them, let's put the sign out there so people can see how fast they're going. Looking at the material that Dustin gave us, I think they were trying to see how fast they could go. It seemed like they went faster when they could see what speed limit they were going. It didn't educate to slow down, it educated that, let's see what my car can do.
Either that or they saw the sign and they didn't care. Just from the data that I said, the ones that I gave to public safety when we were there, in that area, it's a 30 mile an hour zone. In the 1 month time period that it was there, over 17,646 cars are traveling over 30 miles an hour. Over 35 was 3,764.
In a
Over
month?
40 was 694, over 45 was 99, over 50 was 11, over 65 was 2.
And we have people walking out there, people pushing baby carriages.
What really surprised me on 6th Avenue Southwest itself was people traveling just southbound. Just southbound down 6th Avenue Southwest, there was over 40,435 cars traveling southbound on 6th Avenue Southwest
In 1 month?
in 1 month. I would expect that on 150 easily. I didn't expect that on 6th Avenue Southwest.
Could you give me the rates of speed again?
Anybody traveling over 30 miles an hour was 17,646. Anything over 35 miles an hour was 3,764. Over 40 was 694. Over 45 was 99. Over 50, there were 11. And over 65, there were 2.
Okay, thank you.
I say, also, this was just 6th Avenue Southwest. With the speed camera on First Street in the school zone, that's gonna, people that don't wanna go past that are gonna take a different route. So Bland Boulevard will probably get a little more traffic. 20th Avenue is also a school area as well, so I'd like to, that's what I'm wanting a mobile unit for, is to be able to put it in those, okay, around the high school, around Bland Boulevard. If we're putting this on First Street, maybe somebody's gonna try to jump up on Second, Third, whatever, and try to travel around it, and I'd hate to see more people going faster on those roads. So having a mobile unit to stick up there will also say, okay, you gotta slow down here as well. You can't just try to bypass it. I say, everybody knows our school area and what we're trying to do, the trail that we're trying to get across town, the traveling across First Street now that we have a sign there for them to travel at. I say, I want to keep people slow in the area, but I don't want people speeding up in other areas because we're slowing people down in one spot.
And we're not going to have this out every day of the
No.
week.
No.
In fact, you've talked about using the vehicle
Mhm.
that we have now in case an officer has to go to school somewhere. He might be out of town for a week, and that car would be gone for a week.
Yep. The car will still be mobile, still be used, so, I mean, it won't be sitting where, it won't be sitting in a place all the time.
Dustin, you explained to the rest of the council at the Public Safety Committee meeting, you had some numbers pertaining to why we should use the Equinox. I mean, you recommended using it.
Brian Lau, I asked him to look at the Equinox. The Equinox is a 2009, has 98,000 miles on it. We have every service record that we have on it since we got it. It is not equipped to be a squad car. It is equipped as a vehicle that we can use. The only thing that is in it that is considered a squad car is we have a radio and we have some lights. There's no cage, there's no other camera system, no nothing. So we know the vehicle, it operates. It's starting to show signs of rust, so it's something that we can still put out somewhere. It's smaller than what our normal squad cars are. So if we would, let's say we didn't want to use that, and we wanted to take a normal squad car that we were out of our rotation, that we were trading in, that's going to be bigger, harder to park. It stands out more. This one, it just kind of, it's a smaller, compact vehicle. Like I said, we know how it runs. Actually, Carl, you were the mayor when we got the vehicle, so I mean, it's been here since, I don't know if we bought it brand new or if it was used at the time.
It was a year old, kind of demonstrator thing. It was in 10 yeah.
So it was a little old, but I mean, we have every record from it, so we know the vehicle will run for a while. We also can use it, so if we need to go to trainings or other options for it. So that's the reason why we've brought that vehicle, that one we decided to.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the speed cameras. Do I
I
hear
make a motion to allow the speed cameras in the school zone only.
Do I hear a second to that? I don't think you're getting a second on it, Deb, for your limitation. Does anybody else want to make a different motion in regards to the speed cameras?
I'd make the motion that we do the school zone camera and that we also do the mobile camera unit using the Equinox.
I'd second that.
Okay, motion and second to use the speed cameras in the school zone and using the Aquanaut, whatever, Equinox for a mobile unit. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Shar,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
No,
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
I'm going to vote no because I voted no on the whole process. And I don't think we did due diligence from the start. And so I'm going to stick with my guns. But on the other side, I'm all for the safety and I'm not opposed to it passing by any means.
Yeah,
But I'm just,
anyhow, though.
we gotta quit reacting to stuff and start proactively thinking about things before we make decisions. I vote no.
Okay.
Hill,
I vote yes, and my feeling on this is, the thing that I hear from citizens is,
That's right.
well, you're out there giving me a ticket, you're just trying to catch me. And I look at that two ways. One, it really irritates me because we know the speed limit. We know what we're doing, and for some reason, we think that it's okay because we can sneak past a police officer. That we can do whatever we want to, just as long as we don't get caught. And I just paid a $75 fine in Cedar Rapids because I got caught on the traffic camera, and I'm still voting yes on this because I knew better. And I also had my wife sitting next to me telling me to slow down, and I didn't do it either. So I got caught. That's, if you're gonna break the law, I don't understand why people are so upset that they might get caught more often. They know what the law is, and you want to take a chance, you go to the casino, you just take a chance of losing. So I think this, all it says is we have the laws, and we're either going to enforce it, or we just let everybody do whatever they want to.
Well, motion did pass, so.
Which hurts more, Bob, the ticket or your wife telling I told you so? You don't have to.
I think your hesitation answers the question
I think I
for
got
us. Yeah, we got our
A lot of
answer.
memory for one, how about?
Yeah, the check got cashed and went away.
Next on the agenda.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dustin. Next on the agenda is the strategic direction.
This is the strategic direction list that we came up with at our council retreat in December. We tweaked some of where we had it. What we have on the wall here has changed. I'm asking the council to formally adopt the new strategic directions.
You want to explain maybe how we incorporate these into what we do?
Well, this is, the reason we're doing strategic directions versus a goal setting is, sometimes goals change. The specifics of what we think today, we'll find information out, or some of our variables will change. This gives us a general concept, for example, enhancing quality of life. We're talking about providing more affordable housing, improving and building infrastructure. And we have some projects identified underneath there, but the strategic direction is really focused on improving and building out our infrastructure, which is important to the city of Independence. So it gives the council latitude in their decision-making as we go through the course of the next year in how are we going to build and improve our infrastructure.
I would like to see us continue to work on these goals, and they're very good goals. We've come up with them together, but we do need, as Mike talked about, the caveat was to prioritize and to be proactive rather than reactive. And financially, we also need, from my perspective, and this is my perspective, what I'm getting from my constituency, is hold the line on where we are with property taxes. People are struggling with the level of property taxation that we've had. And also last year, there was a tremendous increase in the valuation. So even if we didn't increase the millage, it was increased because of the others. So I would just like to see us balance the two.
And of course, we're in the middle, or the front end, I shouldn't say the middle, the front end of the budget season. So we have that responsibility, and these strategic directions should be guiding our budgeting decisions and, the kind of where are we going with our overall budget. Not just the capital improvement budget, which most of these items would be included in, but you're right, the overall budget.
I make a motion, we accept these.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Hayward, second by Kurtz. Any other discussion? Roll
I think
call.
we all did a good job on making our goals.
I think these are very community conscientious goals. I think it really reflects what the council's heard, what we hear in the public on a regular basis. So I'd agree with you, Deb.
Roll call.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes?
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is City Council meeting schedule for 2020. Do we have any particular dates or something we're wanting to, for holidays and stuff that we end up doing on a Tuesday instead of a Monday?
We have a couple of Tuesday meetings. One is in May for Memorial Day. The second meeting falls on Memorial Day, so that gets moved to a Tuesday. The other item of significance is you'll notice this year, because of the calendar with Christmas, that there are, my December dates on your list here are wrong. I apologize. It should be the 14th and the 28th. But there are 2 meetings in December proposed, as opposed to this year, well, the last 2 years, we've had one.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second?
Motion by Deb, second by Carl. All those in favor say aye, or you want a roll call on this too?
Yeah.
Okay, roll call.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Next is the February Committee of the Whole meeting date, since it falls on caucus night for political party. We need to change that off of Monday into another date. I'm not available on Tuesday, it's up to the council.
I guess I'd like to do it sooner rather than later, so if we could on Tuesday, do it on the 4th.
Are you making that a motion?
Well, I'm just seeing what,
Yeah, that works
if
for
it
me.
flies or
Same here.
no.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, so we're changing February's meeting of the whole to Tuesday, the 4th.
I'd make the motion then if it,
I'd
Okay.
second that.
Motion by Hill, second by O'Loughlin. Any other discussion? You're just going to conduct the meeting for me? I'm going to be with your wife that night instead.
don't ask for all my speeding tickets.
I just thought I'd mention that to you. Okay, roll call.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried.
I guess the reason I look at that is if we need another meeting, then
Yeah.
sooner we
We have
do
a
it.
budget
More we
meeting
have.
next Monday.
We have a budget meeting next Monday at 6:30.
I lost my list.
That's the third Monday. Do we have a budget hearing?
I can get you another one, Mike.
Okay. We're down to reports.
Mayor, we have, we moved from the consent
Oh,
agenda, number
okay.
7, city organizational chart.
Okay,
I did some research while you guys were meeting. I searched on board docs to see when the last time organizational chart would pop up, and I found it was July 23rd, 2018. Councilmember Kurtz made a motion to approve the updated supervisory organizational chart and job descriptions. That was seconded by O'Loughlin. Roll calls were taken, and all were in favor. Vaughn, Kurtz, Hayward, Hill, Sharp, O'Loughlin, and Hannah.
okay.
I'll make the motion.
To
We
vote on that, how many, we all voted yes?
That was 7 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you.
I'd make the motion, we approve the city organizational chart.
I'd second that.
Okay, motion by Hill, second by O'Loughlin to approve the organization chart. Any other discussion? Roll call.
I don't need a roll
You don't,
call.
Thanks for checking on that.
don't need a roll call. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Or-
Opposed, same motion carried. Now we're down to reports. One of the things that I wanted to bring up is that we do have, on our agenda for next time will be Al's evaluation, which I think everybody has turned those in. I need a committee that will tally them and type up any comments for the form that will actually be signed by everybody. But at that meeting, you will each get your one back, and you will read your own comments and your scoring and such, instead of having one person read everybody's. So, Jen has agreed that she would sit on a committee to do that tallying. I didn't know who else might want to do that. Bob seems to have this on his computer, so,
Well, maybe Carl, if I'm not around, others need to know how to do it. Maybe Carl. will do it.
anybody want to be on the committee to tally all of them?
I'll do it.
Okay, Carl, do we need a third usually? Helps to have
Well,
three.
it's not necessary, the way it's set up, it's pretty, yeah.
So you think you and Jen could do that? Because Jen's new to this, but I thought it'd
Well,
be good
you-
training for her.
That's true. I know you want to do it, Bob.
Who's going to type it up? I was gonna say, are you typing this all up, Carl?
He can be the person.
I'll do it one more year, but
Okay,
I think probably it's time for others to.
okay. So Bob, Carl, and Jen, you guys can get together? Since I do have all of the evaluations in, as far as I know.
No, you don't. I forgot.
I got two more tonight, so I have 7.
You got 7?
Uh-huh.
You don't have one for me. What,
So somebody did too, because I had 5 in my drawer, there's 2 more right here
what
that
did
were
you,
on hers. Did you do an
You didn't do one of them.
evaluation? Well, I only need 7, I have 7, and he says he didn't turn his in. So,
Does someone do 2?
Fred must-
Did your wife do it?
Freddie probably.
just trying to get me in really
okay,
deep trouble.
anybody who has not turned in their evaluation needs to do that by next Monday at the latest, so that I can give all of them to the committee to tally. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Any of the city employees, department heads have any reports? Fire department?
Yeah, the only thing I've really got to bring up is I do have news that the grass truck is finally finished. And so hopefully sometime yet this week or early next week, we'll be going and picking it up. So,
Nice.
finally. It's looking good too. I think it's going to look nice in the department. I think it's going to be a nice truck for us, so. Looks
Good.
good. Thank you.
Good news.
Dustin, do you have anything else?
Only thing I had is, on the 9th, it was Officer Appreciation Day. So I'd like to thank everybody that brought us thank you cards and showed us appreciation for the job that we do. We also went out to Prairie Hills that day and had cookies with cops out at Prairie Hills. We were invited out there, so there were 4 officers from the city and 2 deputies from the sheriff's department out there. So,
Very
Thank you.
good. We do appreciate you. I don't see any other city department heads that I can see. Any council members have anything they need to bring up?
Well, I just want to bring up that it's really nice to see a lot of the young people here. I know you have to do it for your grade, but it's great to see you here.
Independent School seems to be getting their classes going active here. I think that's fantastic.
You guys are aware of the speed cameras, right?
Yeah, they came to the right meeting, didn't they?
So you know they're coming.
Which one of you was going 55 on Sixth Avenue?
I'm sure it was none of them. If there's no other comments,
Street crews in mid-season form with the snow plowing. Keep up
Yep.
the good work, guys.
Yep,
I would like to urge residents to, if they at all possible, move their vehicles off the street, even though it's not a snow emergency. It certainly makes the street cleaning go a lot easier and less hazardous for your vehicle to be out there with the snow plows.
yep.
I think Deb had something.
Deb, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, I had one comment. I would like to see us put the garbage up for bids this year.
We'll put that on the next agenda, Deb.
Okay, thank you.
Gina, do you have anything? Al, did you have anything else?
Nothing tonight?
Then I will ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf, seconded by
I'll second.
Callahan. Right on. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
Ward 2 lives on. Ward 2 lives on. The adjournment motion.
Job.
Oh, is